Creatinine is a waste product that comes from the normal breakdown of muscle tissue and the digestion of protein in food. Normally, it is filtered out of the blood by the kidneys. But sometimes, due to damage or disease, kidneys cannot do this filtration properly, due to which creatinine levels can become high. So high creatinine levels can be a sign of potential kidney damage. Moreover, certain daily life activities like exercise or food choices can also contribute to high creatinine levels. Certain foods can increase your creatinine levels by increasing muscle metabolism or providing compounds that can increase the workload on your kidneys. So, let's find out what are the foods that you need to stop eating if you have high creatinine levels. We'll also talk about some healthy alternatives to these foods, or we will suggest the ways to eat these foods safely. So, stay tuned. Food number 1 on our list is eggs. Eggs, especially the yolks, are high in protein, which can directly contribute to higher creatinine levels, especially if your kidneys are already damaged. This is because when the body processes protein, it produces waste products like creatinine, and if your kidneys are damaged, they may struggle to remove these wastes effectively, which can result in higher creatinine levels. So, if your creatinine levels are already high, the high protein content of eggs might put extra pressure on your kidneys. Other than the protein content, the yolk is also a rich source of cholesterol, which can further increase the risk of kidney damage. This is because high cholesterol levels can narrow down the arteries and raise blood pressure. High blood pressure can result in reduced blood flow to the kidneys, which can lead to impaired filtration of creatinine and other waste products. So if you have higher creatinine levels, limit your intake of eggs. For most healthy adults, it's safe to eat 1 to 2 eggs a day, depending on how much other cholesterol and protein foods are in your diet. If you already have high cholesterol or high creatinine levels, it may be best to eat no more than 4 to 5 eggs per week. Number 2. Dark-colored sodas. If you have kidney disease and your test results show high creatinine levels, you might need to avoid dark-colored sodas. Sodas not only contain a high amount of sugar content, which can damage your kidneys and cause higher creatinine levels, but they also contain additives such as phosphorus. The addition of phosphorus is mostly present in the form of salt and is used to enhance flavor, prolong shelf life, and prevent discoloration. Drinking too much soda can increase your phosphorus levels, which can strain your kidneys as they will have to work harder to filter it. Even your kidneys may not still be able to filter it, due to which it can deposit in your blood vessels, harden them, and potentially cause heart problems, which further lead to kidney damage. In addition to that, sodas can increase your risk of developing kidney stones, as most of them are filled with unhealthy chemicals, including high levels of processed bleached sugar, phosphoric acid, caffeine, and high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup in high doses can cause the formation of oxalates and increase levels of uric acid and calcium in the urine, all of which can contribute to the formation of stone formation. Caffeine, on the other hand, is a diuretic, which means it will cause you to pee more often, which can result in chronic dehydration. Dehydration can further contribute to higher creatinine levels because kidneys need proper hydration to filter wastes, like creatinine, efficiently. So, what's the solution? If you are following a strict kidney diet, you have to completely avoid drinking dark sodas, or you can have 1 to 2 cans of diet soda a week, as these are low in sugar, as well as phosphorus additives. Number 3. Red meat. Red meat is one of those foods that are rich in creatine, a chemical that is converted to creatinine when you cook the meat. Research suggests that eating large amounts of protein can increase your creatinine levels, even if you do not have a kidney problem. This is because, as soon as you eat red meat, this creatinine gets absorbed by the intestines, increasing blood creatinine levels. According to studies, a single cooked meal, for example, 225 grams of boiled beef, can result in a sharp increase of 52% in plasma creatinine in most adults, which usually comes to normal level after 12 to 24 hours. But if your kidneys are not healthy, creatinine keeps building up in the body, causing damage to your kidneys. Moreover, when you consume processed red meats, you are also consuming high amounts of salt that is usually added to enhance taste and preservation. Consuming high salt can not only lead to high blood pressure, one of the major risk factors for kidneys, but sometimes causes the formation of kidney stones, increasing the risk of kidney disease. With already high creatinine levels, red or processed meat puts extra pressure on your kidneys, which is the last thing you may want if your kidneys are not functioning properly. So, if you have kidney disease, you need to choose a diet plan containing less of the animal protein and more of the plant-based protein. Your kidney dietitian might suggest foods like chickpeas, soya mince, tofu, and lentils. If you do not have kidney disease, try limiting your red meat consumption to less than 500 grams per week, which might be equal to 2 to 3 dinners, and a small amount of meat topping. Number 4. Whole wheat bread. Due to its high fiber content, whole wheat bread is usually recommended over refined white flour bread for healthy individuals. However, people with high creatinine levels due to kidney disease are mostly advised to eat white bread rather than whole wheat varieties. Why is that? Whole wheat bread contains more bran and whole grains than white bread. And the more the bran, the more phosphorus and potassium content will be entering your body. For example, a regular slice of whole wheat bread contains about 76 milligrams of phosphorus and 90 milligrams of potassium. However, a regular slice of white bread contains approximately 32 milligrams of phosphorus and potassium, which is a relatively lower amount. So, if you eat 4 to 5 slices of whole wheat bread, it can significantly contribute to your potassium and phosphorus levels in the body, burdening the kidneys. Note that most bread, regardless of whether they're whole wheat or white, also contains high amounts of sodium, around 130 milligrams per slice, and 650 milligrams if you eat 5 slices every day. Studies suggest that high sodium levels in the blood can increase the protein excretion in the urine and cause proteinuria, which can lead to loss of kidney function. So, if you want to prevent further kidney damage, start eating 1 slice of whole wheat bread instead of 2. It can help lower your potassium, phosphorus, and sodium intake without giving up whole wheat bread entirely. Number 5. Milk. People with chronic kidney disease have to limit dairy products, especially milk, as high levels of phosphorus, potassium, and calcium are not good for people with high creatinine levels. When your kidneys are healthy, they can keep calcium and phosphorus in balance in the blood and bones. However, with kidney disease, this process is disturbed. So, what really happens when you drink too much milk with kidney disease? Your kidneys are unable to filter excess phosphorus, and it starts to build up in your blood. As discussed before, high phosphorus can remove calcium from your bones and other parts of your body, leading to low calcium. In addition, when you have kidney disease, your kidneys are no longer able to activate vitamin D, which lowers the absorption of calcium from the food you eat. This further lowers the levels of calcium in the blood, causing calcium and phosphorus from the bones to release, weakening them over time. So, even with a good calcium content, milk might not be a good choice for people with high creatinine and low kidney function. In that case, you need to go for alternative options such as soy milk, rice milk, and almond milk. However, it's important to check the labels of these products, as some of these products might contain significant amounts of potassium and phosphorus. Number 6. Canned foods. Despite the convenience and low cost of canned foods, they can sometimes be really unhealthy, especially for people with kidney problems. High salt content and preservatives are not the only reason. Canned foods might also contain a chemical known as bisphenol A or BPA. This chemical is primarily used to prepare food containers or cans that might get absorbed in the foods they are carrying. So, what actually does this chemical do to our body? Our body contains a specific amount of a reproductive hormone called estrogen. Bisphenol A mimics the way estrogen works and tampers with the cells of the heart and blood vessels that are otherwise sensitive to estrogen. This can increase the risk of high blood pressure, leading to other heart problems. Moreover, salt, sugar, and preservatives are also sometimes added to these canned foods. While this does not pose a health risk for most healthy people, it may cause serious problems in those with high blood pressure, diabetes, and kidney disease. So, what is the solution? First of all, it is important to carefully read the ingredient list. Look for low salt or no added salt items, as many popular food staples, such as soups, corn, string beans, and tuna, can be found with low sodium content. If you cannot find low sodium canned vegetables, you can also buy the regular variety and rinse the vegetables with water to help reduce the sodium level. Just remember, you may need to limit your canned food consumption and go for fresh fruits and vegetables, especially if your creatinine levels are high. Number 7. Pickles. Pickles, whether made through traditional pickling or fermentation, are high in sodium, which can be problematic for people with kidney disease. While fermented pickles provide beneficial probiotics that support gut health and help with issues like diarrhea and inflammatory bowel disease, their high sodium content makes them less suitable for individuals with kidney problems. Just one pickle spear can contain nearly 300 milligrams of sodium, which is about 13% of the recommended daily sodium limit for healthy adults. For people with kidney disease, consuming too much sodium can cause fluid retention, high blood pressure, and further strain the kidneys. Over time, this can impair kidney function, increase creatinine levels, and negatively affect blood flow to the kidneys. Although fermented pickles offer gut benefits, their sodium content means they should be consumed in moderation, especially if you have heart or kidney issues. If you don't have significant kidney or heart problems, you might still enjoy pickles occasionally, but it's crucial to control portion sizes and manage your overall sodium intake. To ensure you're making the right choice for your health, it's best to consult a registered dietitian who can guide you on how much sodium is safe based on your individual condition. Number 8. Potatoes. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are rich in potassium, which is why people with high creatinine levels or kidney disease are often advised to limit or avoid them. A medium-sized baked potato contains around 610 milligrams of potassium, while an average baked sweet potato has about 542 milligrams, making them high-potassium foods. With kidney disease, potassium can build up in your body due to impaired kidney function. These higher potassium levels can lead to fatigue, muscle weakness, heart complications, further kidney damage, and even be life-threatening in severe cases. Interestingly, there are ways to reduce the potassium content in potatoes. Research shows that boiling potatoes, especially when starting with cold water, can significantly lower their potassium levels. Soaking potatoes in water for 5 to 10 minutes can also reduce potassium by up to 20%. This process, known as potassium leaching, or the double cook method, can make potatoes somewhat safer to consume in limited quantities. However, even with leaching, the potassium levels may still be too high for some individuals with kidney disease. Number 9. Leafy greens. While we offer to opt for leafy greens for a nutritious and healthier diet, most people with kidney disease have to limit or completely avoid leafy green vegetables. This is because vegetables like Swiss chard, spinach, and beet greens are rich in potassium. The amount of potassium in raw leafy greens ranges from 136 to 290 milligrams per cup. So even with the smaller portions of cooked leafy greens, you are consuming a lot of potassium. Let's take an example. Raw spinach, when cooked, can significantly shrink, and therefore, eating a 1/2 cup of cooked spinach will contain a much higher amount of potassium than 1/2 cup of raw spinach. Another reason to avoid leafy greens is that they are also high oxalate foods. A 1/2 cup of cooked spinach contains around 755 milligrams of oxalates. However, people who are prone to kidney stones are usually instructed to eat less than 50 milligrams of oxalate each day. Other green vegetables that you need to avoid include kale, collard greens, celery, parsley, endive, beetroot greens, dandelion greens, and turnip greens. Number 10. Dried fruits. Dried fruits are highly nutritious food and help boost your fiber and nutrient intake and supply your body with large amounts of antioxidants. However, eating dry fruits is not a good choice for people with kidney disease and high creatinine levels. This is because, when the fruits are dried, most of their nutrients, including potassium and carbs, get concentrated in a smaller portion size. For example, 1 cup of prunes provides 1,270 milligrams of potassium, which is almost 5 times the amount of potassium found in 1 cup of plums, the fruits they are made of. Moreover, if we talk about dates, one medium-sized date provides around 668 milligrams of potassium. Given the high amount of potassium in these common dried fruits, it's best to go without them if you are on a kidney diet to keep your potassium levels in balance. Instead of dry fruits, go for fresh fruits like blueberries, strawberries, grapes, and pineapple. These alternatives provide the sweetness or crunch often craved with dry fruits, but are lower in potassium and phosphorus, making them safer for kidney health. Thanks for watching. But that's not it. If you want to know more about how you can improve your overall kidney health, make sure to watch these videos too.